My name is Šafránek, and I am one of the core OpenShift storage team members. And we do the boring parts of Kubernetes and OpenShift. We do like dynamic provisioning, mounting volumes. It's not fancy, but as a result, you can use OpenShift to train your AI and store the results somewhere. You can make applications that book your flight tickets. And I want to talk about security-enhanced Linux, SELinux. Everybody loves it, right? And in OpenShift world and in Kubernetes, it just works. Try to remember when you needed to reconfigure anything related to SELinux or when it didn't work, right? It just works. Problem is, when you have large volumes of data, and large volume means many, many files on that volume. People start noticing that there is something wrong with SELinux when they start a pod, and OpenShift needs to apply a SELinux label to all files on that volume. It literally works through the whole file system directory, hierarchy, into every single directory, and it applies a SELinux label to every single file. And this applies especially when you have a slower file system, something remote, some remote NFS, remote ZFS, and remote means like really remote. I have seen cases when a pod startup took 1 minute because of this, and I have also seen a case when it took more than 1 hour. So we are trying to improve things, and we are trying upstream to apply a SELinux label via mount options. Don't worry, I won't go into details. Mount option applies a SELinux label to a volume in a constant time. It's instant. There is no walking through the hierarchy. Doesn't matter how many files you have. It is instant. It is available as tech preview in OpenShift for 15. However, it is limited only to read-write one-spot volumes. This is a new kind of volumes in Kubernetes, and you can use this volume only in a single pod. You can never run 2 pods sharing the same volume. Why? You will see shortly. Of course, we are extending the implementation to all volume types. This feature also requires compatible CSI drivers, and most of the drivers that we ship in OpenShift for 15 are compatible. Again, more are coming. And ideally, it should not require any change on the application side. So you can keep using your stateful set, your deployment, and you shouldn't see any difference. Does this work? And why it is limited to read-write one-spot volumes is that it can break your application. If you share a single volume by 2 pods that have different SELinux labels, but they use their own separate directories on a volume, we do support it today. So you can have a pod. You can have a pod A using directory A with a SELinux label A, and at the same time, the same volume can be used by pod B with directory B with a SELinux label B. As long as they are working with their own directories, everything works today. But it will not work when we extend this feature to all volume types, because we are going to mount the volume, the whole volume, with the SELinux label, and both directories will have the same label. So one of these pods will be very unhappy and will not start. You will see crazy errors. That's why this feature is limited to read-write one-spot volumes, because they cannot be mounted into 2 pods. They can be mounted only single one. At the same time, we are watching in telemetry how many pods will we break when we extend it to all volumes. So if you install OpenShift for 15, nothing should break. We are not going to break anything at least until for 17. And at the same time, we are watching telemetry. What would break if we enable this feature for all volumes? And if you use NFS, Samba, or CFFS, we have ways how to mount them into 2 pods with 2 different SELinux labels. So even when we extend this feature to these shared file systems, it should be fine even if we use this mount option. So we are fixing Kubernetes. It will mount volumes instantly with the right SELinux label. The whole SELinux should be not noticeable to anything or anybody, hopefully. It should still just work. We hope we are not going to break any application. We are not going to break them at least until OpenShift for 17. However, please keep your telemetry enabled, because then I can see what I would break. If I don't see your cluster in telemetry and I break it, sorry, your fault. Here are some links to upstream enhancement, upstream docs, upstream blog. There are all the details, especially in the enhancement, about SELinux, how it works in Kubernetes, how the labels are applied, who applies them when, and all the use cases that I'm going to break. So please watch those. So thanks a lot. It was a really lightning talk.